Good morning, everyone. Over the past 12 hours, we've been in constant contact with the legislature, and we've received some very positive, constructive words from them. We are confident that today, coming up for a vote, will be a measure which will allow the city of Harrisburg to exit Act 47, will protect taxpayers, and allow the region to avert what otherwise would be a financial catastrophe. Given that we feel that we've gotten the message across to the right people, we are not going to march to the Speaker's office this morning, but we did want to come out and address you, the media, one more time about why this issue is so important, really not just for Harrisburg, but for the region. The way our law for Act 47 is currently written, the taxing authority that we have under Act 47, if we were to do nothing, would expire in September. If the legislature does not act today, goes off on recess, when they come back, our taxing authority would expire. That is $12 million of revenue, and that revenue is absolutely necessary to pay for, as you can see, police and fire. There were representations yesterday that somehow we could cut $12 million from our budget. If we were to cut $12 million from our general fund budget, it would mean cutting police officers, cutting firefighters, hurting public safety, acting not in the interests of the city and the region, and it simply can't be done. So we're calling on the legislature to fix the problem that they created by putting a 5-year time clock on Act 47 and to allow us to exit from Act 47 by the end of the year in a stable, responsible way that will allow for the city to have sustainable growth for the future. And again, we feel working with leadership, we will be successful today. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them briefly from the media.
Why was it that just months ago you thought we could get a 3-year extension? Was there a recent change to the law, or was that a misunderstanding?
I think there's a misunderstanding that an extension is somehow automatic. What happens is the original plan will expire in September, and one of 3 options happen. The city would have to dissolve, which is not going to happen. The city would go into receivership, or the city would have to adopt a new plan, a new 3-year plan. And that plan, without legislative change and without legislative action, would require a massive property tax increase of over 100%, something which wouldn't work, which people can't afford, and which they know won't work. And that's why legislative change is being recommended by DCED as the proper path, and that's why we're putting such an emphasis on getting them to act today.
So for taxpayers, is this staying, their prices are staying the same?
For taxpayers, we are averting a financial catastrophe that would have meant elevating taxes beyond a rate in which anyone could pay. We are protecting taxpayers, and we are protecting the region. We're also going to save taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars, because once the city is able to exit Act 47, we'll be able to responsibly borrow, responsibly refinance our debt, access markets which are not open to us currently, with the cloud hanging over us of what's going to happen if Act 47 expires. So this action, which the legislature will take today, will protect taxpayers and will save the region from going back to the brink of bankruptcy and back to the negative headlines that really plagued us 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. The proposal is to maintain the revenue that we currently have. We're not asking for anything new, and I'll have you know that that earned income tax revenue is paid by city residents. It's something which nobody enjoys paying who lives in the city, but we do as part of the sacrifices that have been made under Act 47. There was a representation that there was more that the city could somehow privatize. There isn't. We've privatized our trash. We're paying the highest trash rates in the region. We've privatized our parking. We're paying the highest parking rates in the region. We've privatized our water system. We're paying high water rates and increasingly high water rates. We have school tax rates going up every year. The citizens of Harrisburg and the region are taxed enough. We need to protect them from what otherwise would be a catastrophic property tax increase.
And as far as Terzai, you got off the phone with him, and he says today they'll vote that this will all happen. So
We've spoken with leadership, and there will be a vote today on the fiscal code bill. There will be a proposal in there that will help Harrisburg and the region, and we are hopeful that it will be successful.
Beginning of the year, it's going to be out January 1.
It would allow us to exit over the course of this year and be out for next year. That's right.
So what does the bill amend? Does it address the third-class city code or create special provisions for Harrisburg?
The fiscal code amendment that is being proposed applies only to Harrisburg. It applies to a city which has been in receivership. Harrisburg is the only municipality in Pennsylvania ever to have been in receivership, ever to have been under state control. The plan, as many of you know, was devised in receivership, devised under a Republican governor, then Governor Corbett, and would allow a city which has been in receivership to be able to exit Act 47 and maintain its taxing authority. So we're going to be in constant communication with the legislature over the course of the day. The vote should come up sometime in the early afternoon. I know everyone wants to get home to their families and be on recess, and let's get this done. I want to thank the FOP and the IAFF for standing with us and for recognizing that what happens in Harrisburg not only affects public safety, but affects police and fire throughout the Commonwealth. Thank you all for coming.